Today's book, The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. I don't even know how to categorize this book. Is it dark fantasy? Is it horror? Is it magical realism? Weird as heck fiction? I can't really put my thumb on the pulse of what exactly it's categorized as. It's kind of a mishmash of all of that stuff. It's not weird in the way that House of Leaves is weird. If you've ever attempted to tackle that absolute insanity of a book. But today's book is certainly a strange beast all of its own, with a very disturbing and captivating story. So I had made a short about what the weirdest book that I had ever read was, which was House of Leaves. And I asked you, like, what were some of the weirdest books that you've read? And so I got a number of answers, and one of the ones that was recommended was The Library at Mount Char. And I had heard of it before, so that kind of like tipped me in that direction to check out this one. So I picked it up, and it sure is weird. The story is messed up, but it's also absolutely a fantastic book if you like weird as heck books. You have this main character, Carolyn, and she's grown up in this place that had this infinite library, and her and these other children were actually raised by this guy that goes as father. His name is Adam Black. There was an incident that happened when they all were kids. They were between, I think, like the ages of like 8 and 11. They were at this park, an event occurred, and then all of them were left basically as orphans. And this guy, father, was like, hey, you guys can come live with me, or otherwise they're probably going to put you in the system, and who knows where you'll end up. You know, other parents had died. These are little kids. What are they going to do? So they all go with this guy. As they go into his house, which is where this infinite library is, he's like, you guys are going to study under me. And there's 12 children. And he gives each of them an area, a catalog of study, you know, and there's different types of study. There's medicine, and there's languages, and there's war, and there's the language of the dead, and several other different catalogs. And the thing is, the children are not allowed to read outside their catalog, otherwise they'll be severely punished. A lot of them have died several times and been brought back, and sometimes their death has been one of the punishments that they've received. And so this library has like all of this crazy knowledge that if it ever fell into the wrong hands could basically obliterate and destroy our planet and life as we know it. Father has gone missing. The children are now all adults, somewhere in their 30s, and they're super effed up. They don't really have like the same emotions that normal humans have, because they basically have abilities that the outside layman person would consider magic. Like, these kids are kind of wizards. They're not wizards, but it's just so unbelievable the things that they can do and how dangerous some of them are that it is borderline unbelievable. And so the premise is, when you read the back of the book, it's like, what even is this? Because it, you know, gives you the gist of like, there's these kids, there's this woman, Carolyn, her area of study was languages. The languages of humans, the languages of animals, the languages of the storms, like all the languages in the world. You're in this bar, and she's there with this guy, Steve, and she offers him $372,000. So the synopsis is like, there's a tempting offer, $372,000 and a pair of red rubber galoshes. And you're like, where is this even going? The synopsis doesn't really give you a good picture of what's happening in this book. Like, what is up? So Father disappears, and Father has a lot of enemies. So if any of Father's enemies were to get to the library and control that knowledge, that would be very bad. As I said, this could end the world as we know it. The children, too, who are now adults, none of them can enter the library either. There's like this weird perimeter defense thing that if any of them get too close, some of them start bleeding out of their eyes, others pass out, like bad stuff happens to them when they try to get to the library. So they can't currently get to it. It's in this like weird town that most people don't even notice exists. So like normal people don't really see it. They just kind of pass by. And the people that live in this town aren't exactly people. There's also sentinels that kind of protect the area. Lots of them. Anyone who does get in there could possibly be attacked. You have that. And it turns into like this all-out war of who's going to control the library and what's going to happen. And that leaves like the fate of the world kind of like up for grabs. And then there's more to the story and behind the scenes. And it's like, where did Father disappear to? Or did someone kill him? Was it one of the enemies? Did Father just go away for a while? Is this a test for all the kids? Is David, who is his study is war and murder, did he do it because he has a severe hatred for father after some of the punishments he received when he was younger? And there's so much that's messed up in this and just jacked up. And the whole story behind it of like what sets off this war, and you have the government gets involved in this, but they don't realize how dangerous these kids are. I keep calling them kids, but they're adults at this point. I don't know what to really call them. Librarians, the Librarian 12. Is that what we're going to call them? That's not what they're called in the book, but it's pretty intense. Maybe some people have been reading outside of their catalog. If certain people or one of the librarians were to say take control of the library and it ended up being like David, that would be horrible for the world too, because his catalog is war and murder, and so he would just send the whole world into bloodshed and tears, basically. So that would also be terrible. But maybe if one of the other librarians ended up with it, things could be okay, but then that's still a lot for one person to take on and figure out how all this works. And so who is behind the disappearance of father? Was it father, or was it someone else? And the way that these librarians interact with each other, like none of them really maybe even trust each other. Some of them have actually coupled off. Some of the ones that have like the weird death catalog studies smell of rot and just smell really awful and have lost pretty much almost all traces of humanity. And then you get some of the backstory too that just makes you sad. Like David, the murder and war guy, apparently used to be a really sweet kid, but with his catalog of study, he's almost unrecognizable too as like someone with humanity, but every once in a while he'll surprise you, And so it's a crazy book. I thought it was absolutely an amazing story. It's off the wall weird. It is super original. I liked the characters. I liked the strangeness. I liked the atmosphericness of it. I liked how the story kind of twisted and turned, and then there's some really like effed up stuff in it too. Like it's very gory. There are references and some happenstances of rape. There is abuse and murder. Some animals are harmed in it. There's a lot of things that could definitely be triggers. So always, like, if you're a person that needs to know about those, always look up the trigger warnings. Storygraph, I believe, will list a lot of the trigger warnings for books, because I know some books will have it in there and then some don't, and everyone's different about it. But yeah, the story is moving and emotional and messed up and weird, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. If you like intense, weird, a little bit apocalyptic reads, then The Library at Mount Char might just be for you. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.